How safe is actually traveling in Bali for solo girls? I've been living in Bali for the past 8 months, and the question I've been hearing the most from my friends and family is there actually safe? Which is completely a fair question, and I ask myself the same thing before moving here. So stay with me until the end to discover the reality of safety for girls that live in Canggu, Bali. Canggu is the hyped area of Bali, and it comes with pros and cons. It's a great place to connect with like-minded people and work on your project, but of course when it's nighttime it gets transformed in party life, nightlife. There are so many tourists right now because the border opened up again, so when there are more people, this means that also the small crimes happens more regularly. I have to say also that I come from Switzerland, so I've always been used to go back home like at 3, 4, 5 a.m. completely alone in the street, and I never feel unsafe. So it's also very curious for me to live in a country which has another level of safety. And there are especially a few things that I advise to girls that decide to come to Bali, especially in Canggu. The first thing that I recommend is to not keep your phone visible when you drive a scooter or when you are passenger of a Gojek or a Grab driver. As I talk in this video, there are a lot of small robberies, but they can become very, very dangerous in such a small amount of time. Many people I know, especially girls, has been robbed while driving a scooter, and this can be extremely dangerous. This happened because maybe they were checking the direction on their phone and distractedly they didn't realize there was someone around there that decided to grab the mobile phone from out of their hands, and of course you get scared, you're like, why this is happening, and you risk to crash your scooter, and this is what happened usually. As well, it doesn't happen only with the scooter, but it happened as well that maybe you have a backpack on your back and there are people that maybe start to follow you, and in order to take out your bag or your purse from you, they will try to push you or pull you out of the main roads, and at that point you have two options: or you leave your backpack or you crash your scooter. Of course, I don't want to scare you, but these are things that sometimes happen, especially right now that tourism is rising again on the island, so it's better to be safe than sorry. The second point is inappropriate dressing, which is a hot take, and of course I would prefer to not talk about it, but it's still a thing, we all know this. It's very important to remember that even though Bali has been pretty westernized and there is a lot of tourism, it is still a developing island with a strong connection to the religion. If you don't want to get catcalled or being looked in a weird way, just try to cover yourself, or at least avoid walking around the street with just a bikini on top. The third point, which I think is very important to talk about and that maybe you wouldn't think of, is crossing shortcuts on night. In Canggu there are two main shortcuts. There is one which goes from Batu Bolong to Berava, which is the biggest and let's say more famous, and the second one is the one that crosses Batu Bolong to Pererenan area. Even though this spot connects the different parts of Canggu, are also unfortunately a very great spot for robberies to happen. These roads are very tiny and long, so in the middle of the night if someone decides to block you on the street, it's super easy, and if those are multiple people, it's even easier that they can potentially rob you. I don't want to discourage you whatsoever, but I just prefer to point out this situation which actually happens in all the big city. I'm talking about Canggu because it's a small area with a lot of people, so I think that maybe my living here could help someone of you to avoid this kind of situation. The third point is about driving or crossing Umalas area at night. Umalas area is an area in Canggu which is very well known for night robberies and villa robberies too. If you can avoid driving a scooter there at night, it will be awesome. And if you cannot, in that case, what I can suggest you is to book a Grab driver or a Gojek driver that will follow you back all the way back home or wherever you have to go, in order to avoid something to you to happen, or still have someone that can check on you while driving. All these situations are things that I never would have thought back at home, and it's great to also experience this kind of circumstances because it's a really reality check. The fifth things that can happen, and unfortunately it's not a legend, are the spiked drinks. It happened to me once, and since then I got so scared that I always cover my glass when I go out drinking. I never drink from someone that I don't know, even if maybe I'm a little bit tipsy, and I always try to check an eyes also on my friends. In clubs or on party on the beach, it's very easy that someone just throws something on your glass without you even realize it. This is also the reason why it's always so important, and I'm not saying just for party, but in general when you live abroad or when you also travel abroad, to always let someone know where are you going. This could be your family, your friends, your hostel friends, or the receptionist of the place you're staying in. Bali is a safe island, and also living in Canggu, on my point of view, it's safe. These are all situations that of course could happen everywhere around the world, and I just feel to give an advice or heads up to potential girl that will decide to come here for traveling or for living long term. These things could happen. I will say that the 50-60% of people I know has been their mobile phone stolen. It happens to me while I was filling my scooter with petrol, and I realized that my phone was gone. I still have no clue how, but they are really great in doing that. But in general, I'm totally feel to say that it's a really calm place and super safe for girls. Also because if it wouldn't be so safe, I wouldn't live here, right? As everywhere in the world, you have to put your common sense first and think that you are not in your country, depending of course where you are from. So the culture is different, the mind is different, the economy is different, and remember just to keep your belongings safe and yourself too. If you want to know more about the things that you should not do in Bali, check out this video, and if you find this video interesting, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next Sunday with another video. Bye bye!